Welcome to a new episode.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Copper Connection podcast. As always, I'm your host Chris Bailey, and if you're a plumbing student, apprentice, or anyone working their way to a technical qualification in the trades, you're exactly in the right place. Today we're diving into something absolutely everywhere in modern plumbing, but a lot of students find it confusing at first. I'm talking about instantaneous hot water systems. Now, I know what you're thinking. Chris, hot water systems? That sounds boring. But stick with me, because understanding these systems could be the difference between passing your level 2 exam with confidence or scrambling through the questions you should have nailed. Plus, when you're on site and a customer asks, which system should I install? You'll sound like an expert you're training to become. So grab your notebook, get comfortable, and let's break this down together. Alright then, let's start with a story. Imagine you're in a house that was built in the 1980s. You walked into the kitchen and there's a massive copper cylinder taking up half of the airing cupboard. That's a traditional stored heating hot water system. It heats water, stores it, and waits for you to use it. It works, but it's bulky. It wastes energy keeping water hot all day, and if you run out, you're waiting for the whole tank to reheat. Now, fast forward to today. You walk into a modern flat and there's no cylinder, no tank, just a sleek unit on the wall. You turn on the taps and boom, instant hot water. That's the magic of instantaneous systems. But here's the thing. Instantaneous hot water isn't just one type of system. It's actually a whole family of technologies. Because when you're sitting in your exam, or when you're on the job site, you'll be expected to identify them, explain how they work, and even recommend the right one for the situation. So let's break this down into bite-sized pieces. The main categories you need to know are localized systems. These serve just one outlet, like a single sink or a shower. Then we have multiple systems. These can serve multiple taps throughout the property. And then combination boilers, dual-function units that do heating and hot water. And then we've got thermal stores and combined primary storage units. These are the clever hybrids. Don't worry, if that sounds like a lot, we're going to walk through them, each one, and I'll give you a real-world example so it all clicks. Let's start small, literally. Localized systems. Picture this, you're working on a site and there's a staff toilet at the far end of the warehouse. It's about 30 metres away from the main hot water cylinder. Every time someone washes their hands, they're running taps for ages, waiting for the hot water to travel all that distance. It's wasteful, it's annoying, and the client's water bills are going to go through the roof. So what's the solution? A localised water heater. These little units sit right where you need them, usually under or over a sink, and they heat water on demand, right at the point of use. So there's no waiting and there's no waste. There are two main types you'll come across. First, instantaneous localized heaters. These are something called inlet controlled heaters. Here's how they work. Cold water flows in, passes through a heating element and comes out hot. Simple. The moment you turn the tap off, the heater shuts down. No storage, no standby heat loss. They're perfect for hand basins and showers where you just need a quick burst of hot water. Most need at least 1 bar of water pressure to work properly, so always check the mains pressure before you spec one. Secondly, we've got storage localized heaters. These are often called displacement heaters. They store a small amount of water, usually between 7 and 15 litres. And when you turn on the tap, cold water pushes the hot water out. Think of it like a mini hot water cylinder. Now, here's the key detail for your exam. Oversing heaters have a spout built into the unit itself, and the spout acts as an open vent to allow expansion. But under sink heaters need a vent tap. one that's always open to the atmosphere so the water can expand safely. If you install the wrong tap, you could have a problem. That's the kind of detail that shows up in practical assessments, so make a note of it. So, real world tip, if you ever asked to install one of these, always check the manufacturer instructions for the minimum pressures and the correct tap type. It'll save you a call back. Okay, so let's scale up. What if we need hot water at multiple outlets, like in a flat or a small house? That's where multiple point instantaneous water heaters come in. These are the workhorses of modern plumbing. They take cold water straight from the mains, heat it up instantly in a hot water exchanger and deliver it to as many taps as you need. There's no storage tank, so you'll never run out of hot water. As long as the tap's running, hot water keeps coming. Now, here's where it gets interesting, and this is exam gold, so listen up. These heaters work on something called a Bernoulli principle. Don't panic, it's not complicated as it sounds. Basically, when a water flows through a narrow tube called a ventry, it speeds up and the pressure drops. The pressure drop opens a valve which lets gas flow to the burner. The burner ignites, heats the water, and off you go. When you close the tap, the water stops flowing, the pressure equalises, and the valve closes, and the burner shuts off. It's a beautiful, simple system once you understand it. So why does this matter? Because if a customer complains that their multi-point heater isn't firing up, one of the first things you'll need to check is the water flow and pressure. If the flow is too low, the ventry won't create enough pressure difference and the system won't work. Understanding the principle helps you diagnose the problem. Now, let's talk about the system you'll see in most modern homes, the combination boiler, or Combi for short. Combis are brilliant because they do two jobs in one unit. Most of the time, they're quietly running your central heating, but the moment you turn the tap on for hot water, a diverter kicks in, switches the boiler's focus and sends all its heat to a secondary heat exchanger. That heat exchanger heats cold water from the mains and you get instant hot water at the tap. Here's the trade-off. While running the hot water, the central heating stops. For most homes, that's not a problem. You're not usually running a hot tap for long. But in a big house with high hot water demand, it might not be ideal. So, in your exams, you might get a question like, what type of system would you recommend for a small two-bed flat? A Combi is always almost the right answer. It's compact, it's efficient, and there's no need for separate hot water cylinder or a cold water tank in the loft. That saves space and installation costs. But if the question says, large family home with multiple bathrooms, you might want to suggest a system with stored hot water instead, because Combis can struggle to multiple appliances at once. Right, we're nearly there. Let's talk about two more systems that are a bit more advanced: thermal stores and combined primary storage units. These are the hybrid systems. They combine the benefit of stored hot water with instant delivered mains pressure. Here's how they work. You've got a big insulated tank full of primary hot water, heated by a boiler or built-in burner. When you turn a tap on, cold water from the mains flows through a heat exchanger inside the tank. The primary water heats it up instantly, and you get hot water at mains pressure. The difference between a thermal store and a combined primary storage unit is simple. A thermal store is heated by a separate boiler, while a combination unit has its own gas burner built in. So why use these? Well, they're great for homes with high hot water demand, like a family with a teenager who always wants showers at the same time. You get the instant response of a Combi, but with the capacity of stored water. Before we wrap up, let's touch on something critical, and that's flues. Any gas appliance needs to get rid of combustion gases safely. There are three main types. We have flueless appliances, which takes air from the room and discharges gases back into the room. They should never run for more than 5 minutes. continuously, so they're really only for very small occasional use. Then we have open fluid appliances, which takes the air from the room but discharges gases outside through a flue. You need to make sure there's adequate ventilation in the room. And then we have room sealed appliances. Takes air from outside and discharges gases outside. These are the safest and most common in modern installations. So if you get a question about ventilation requirements, always think about the flue type first. It'll guide your answer. Alright then, so let's bring this all together. Instantaneous hot water systems are everywhere. From the little under-sink heater in a cafe toilet, to the Combi boiler in your mate's flat, to the thermal store in a big family home. They're the backbone of modern plumbing. And now you understand how they work, when to use them, and how to talk about them with confidence. So here's my challenge to you. Next time you're on site, or even visiting a friend's house, take a look at their hot water system. Can you identify what type it is? Can you explain how it works? That's how you turn theory into real world knowledge. If you found this episode helpful, make sure you hit the follow on the Combi Connection podcast. We're here every week with practical, no-nonsense advice to help you smash your qualifications and build a career you're proud of. And if you've got a question or there's a topic you want me to cover, drop me a message. I read every single one. Until next time, keep learning, keep asking questions. I've been Chris Bailey and you've been listening to the Combi Connection podcast. We will see you on the next episode.
We'll be back next week. In the meantime, please subscribe and thanks for listening.